Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with part 30 of our MotoGP 24 Let's Play. Yes, we return this weekend for the Monster Energy Grand Prix of Catalonia. Quickly, before we get into this, I just want to apologise. I was a bit busy last week. I never really had the time to play MotoGP or F1 Manager, but hopefully, as of today, we are going to be returning with both games as normal once again. We're mighty close to 3,000 subscribers, so if you aren't already, please do make sure you hit that sub button as well for more content on the channel. But yeah, we had a pretty decent outing last time out, if I remember, in Le Mans. Unfortunately, we didn't get the points we wanted, though, in the end, because the race got cut short, which was a little bit frustrating there. That means Fermin Aldeguer, my teammate, and Alonso Lopez now jump back ahead of us in the championship there. We've got a 17-point deficit to those two. Still just ahead of Vietti and Chantra, who took his first win of the campaign. Taking a look at Moto3, though, it is Carraro still in the lead ahead of Angel Paqueras there with Matteo Battelle in at P3. And then having a look over on the MotoGP side of things, Marc Marquez top of the standings, of course. I do know he won at the weekend, didn't he? For like the first time in 3 years in real life MotoGP, because apparently they were at the track he's OP at or something. But yeah, still ahead then of Espargaro as well, that Antonio Arbolino there in at P3. But for us, like I said, it's been over a week since I played this game. I'm probably going to be a little bit rusty, so we'll see how we get on.
Morning from Spain. We are live at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Good morning again from the circuit. Just a few more minutes and the second practice session will begin. We're pretty sure the pace will pick up and we'll start to understand who will be able to book a place in Q2.
Right, well, let's head then onto the circuit here from Catalonia. Of course, this is a circuit that obviously I know incredibly well. And I believe, no, Qatar, isn't it? We've already been to Qatar this season, of course, because there aren't too many tracks that overlap between MotoGP and Formula 1 as well. There is hopefully I'm not going to get a penalty or anything like that, because, I mean, so many AI parked on the apex of the very first corner, and they're going to do it again. I find more and more with this game, immediately, I've been playing it for about 45 seconds. I've remembered how much during practice and qualifying I just want to be nowhere near any other rider. But I always forget as well just how brutal the track limits are around the final couple of corners of this lap. But boy oh boy, I feel very, very rusty at the moment. First lap time on the board. We're going to be over 2 seconds slower than Vietti. I know there's a lot more time to find, but it is a little bit unnerving. The problem I get still on this game when we go to the F1 tracks is I'm still obviously so used to just how ridiculously quick an F1 car is. And obviously these things, you know, even the Moto2 bikes aren't a million miles away down in a straight line. But of course through the twisty bits they just lose so much in comparison to what I'm used to there. You know, Kampsa in Formula 1 is flat out. On a motorbike, I mean, in this thing, we're taking it all the way down in second gear. But trying to thread the needle through the final couple of corners. Lucky track limits there playing nicely that time. Huge understeer as we just completely misjudged that final corner. We do find another 1.3 though, so we have the gap to Ayagura at the front. We're meant to be ahead of Aldeguer in the standings come the end of this weekend, according to the team. I'm not optimistic. I mean, again, it is that fine balance. Oh no, where's the yellow flag? So it's behind us, that's okay then. I panicked, of course, when I saw Sector 3. I thought, no, don't ruin this lap. It might actually be a fairly decent one, as again, we go on half the gap down towards your top runners. But only in P11, though. We probably need another good half a second if we want to be safely in straight into Q2. So we've got other riders exiting out the pit lane. They tend to move out the way for other riders there. There's no idea what that guy's line was down into turn 1. Come on, that's a pretty decent run through the first couple of corners. Let's try and get this lap hooked up. Well, the AI do tend to clump together as well in terms of their delta times as we make our way out the final corner. Little bit cheeky with the track limits there, but we get about half a second away from Agura at the front. That leaves us provisionally P8. Hopefully it'll be enough. And there we go then, the time was good enough to see us straight into Q2 then. So we end up P9 there at the end of practice. I think that's pretty good going. Like I said, I'm definitely still a little bit rusty. And a lot of the AI use soft compound tyres, and I'm pretty certain we opted for mediums. Well, again, first priority as we head out into qualifying then is making sure that we've got some free track space. Annoyingly, for whatever reason, the AI on this game love to seem to make their way out of the pit lane just as I'm starting a lap. It's almost like they're waiting for me to get down towards turn 1, and then they'll all decide, actually, yeah, you know what, we'll get out there. As love that. Go on. Yeah, there you go. That'll be a penalty, won't it? Because one of them's fallen off. No? I don't know. It just annoys me. I think the other thing that always annoys me as well is it seems like it's always a group of slower riders as well, but not enough slower that I can just kind of get through and get on with my own session. Just a bit slower, so they kind of are in the way for a little while, completely distracting us as well. I mean, look at that. We're on a lap right now. This guy's just diving down my inside. I mean, that's Vietti, to be fair, so he's one of the quicker ones, but the guy in front of him, I can't remember his name, they're just all ruining it, and especially when we've only got 15 minutes, there's not much time to get laps on the board. I mean, if we can't make it around the guy that barely crept into Q2, then I don't think we stand much hope throughout the rest of the session. I'll go around his outside there off the exit of the final corner, and there we go, 46.7 is a bit more of a representative. We're still a second slower, though, than Alonso Lopez. Let's hopefully now have a bit of breathing room, and maybe we can chase Vietti. Well, coming up then for another improvement here. We're getting closer and closer towards the top times. Only 4 tenths away now, as Vietti still in P2. We're only good enough for 8th place at the moment, but quicker than Aldeguer. But I think what's impressive at the moment is I reckon we've got splits here to go top of the board. The other thing that is always scary around Catalunya is for some reason inside this game, the curbs here are absolutely massive everywhere on this lap, as that is not the line we needed down the end of, well, I guess it's halfway through Sector 3 actually inside this game. Why does MotoGP, can any MotoGP nerds tell me, why do they insist on having 4 sector splits a lap? Is it just because obviously the circuits take longer to navigate for the most part? Obviously because you're going a lot slower? It seems really, really peculiar to me why on earth you would want 4 sectors. For example, Sector 1 here is literally Turn 1 and Turn 2. Someone please inform me, you know, let me know why that's the case, but we haven't got much time left, and I'm starting to worry that we're just not going to be able to find much more. Well, Joe Roberts, the American then, a new name at the top of the board there, goes 0.03 of a second clear of Jake Dixon there and Alonso Lopez, but a nightmare for both myself and our teammate. We end up P10, Aldeguer only good enough for P13, so we're both going to have to try and carve our way through as we head into the race. For whatever reason behind Aldeguer, everybody else incredibly spread out.
Hello and welcome to Barcelona, Spain. We're coming to you from the Catalunya circuit, where the fans in the stands are eagerly awaiting the riders to take to the track. In a few moments, we'll move to the main straight to watch the start of the Moto2 race. It's been a long weekend, but we finally reached the moment everyone's been waiting for. Just a few more minutes and the race will start. Today is a perfect day for racing. The sun is shining and temperatures are mild. Most of the riders plumping straight for medium tyres at the front and rear.
Well, it is only fans on pole position here in Catalunya. Things, I'll be honest, I did not expect to say today. But yeah, we got mediums then on both the front and the rear of the bike. So let's just head out onto the circuit. I'm looking forward to this one. We've got a chance to take some points out of Aldeguer at the top of the table.
Riders are ready for the start of the Catalan Grand Prix. The lights are on, and as soon as they go out, it's going to get wild.
Well, there we go. We take a nice look at that OnlyFans bike as well. There is its 10 red lights here on the grid. And it is going to be lights out and away we go then. Onto a fairly clean, tidy start there. It's actually a really good start. Loads of riders struggling to put the power down. And the outside line there just opening up for us down in towards Stumble. We've gained 6 places before we even make it in towards the first braking zone there. And normally I don't gain any off the start. I think that was Lopez trying to have a look up the inside there, but fired it way too far in through that first corner there, as it's still going to be Joe Roberts at the front of the field ahead of Jake Dixon and Vietti. So yeah, we've done really, really well there, as we've got to crash another rider down through the first couple of corners. I think that's Guerrera, who's maybe out of this race there. As I think, yeah, quite a few riders getting involved then in the chaos early on. Aldeguer as well able to make up quite a few spots there for our teammates, so maybe just followed us through. But of course, it is only an 8-lap race here, so making all that progress early on in the afternoon, super important. Because of course, hopefully now we can try and defend from some of the riders behind us. Alonso Lopez again having a look for a move. And again, he'll just run himself a little bit deep there. We'll read it quite nicely. Said, this final sector, when I get it nailed, we are incredibly quick through. But it is just quite difficult to reliably hit your lines. And yeah, Joe Roberts at seemingly nowhere this season. They've been pretty quiet so far. Down at Team Only Fans, haven't made any particular moves. I am trying to be careful, making sure I don't accidentally drop a awful innuendo into this video. Whoa, big dive coming in for the lead of the race there, as we're still just being careful. There's Jake Dixon there, I think, has actually slowed down Roberts a little bit. That might open up the door for Vietti. There's no idea what line I'm taking through the long flowing turn 3. Just pinging a bit unluckily off the back of Ayagura as well there, as we make our way up back to the top of the hill. So dropping a couple of places still. I don't really know, to be honest, how easy it's going to be to make overtakes here for me, to be honest, because the AI seem to be able to get the power down quite nicely off a lot of the corners. We can only seemingly tend to capitalise when they kind of run themselves deep into an apex or really trip over each other. They can still be very aggressive. The AI on this game can be fantastically dynamic. They can also be, as we saw in free practice, absolutely useless, so you kind of never know what you're going to get with them, as that is not the lineup through Camp Sir. This circuit really does open itself up for some fantastic motorbike racing, as we've got past Ayagura there. Whoa! That's what I mean, though. Huge contact as Joe Roberts gets forced off his bike. So any hopes of a win today immediately have been evaporated there by Vietti. And, well, I'll be staggered if Vietti doesn't get a penalty for that one. Luckily, we're in the right place at the right time to capitalise. So is Alonso Lopez, who will try and get himself up to P2. We'll send it down both the inside of him and Vietti there. Maybe trying to avenge Joe Roberts and Only fans early on. How has Vietti not even been investigated for that when he completely forced Joe Roberts off the road and off his bike? As clearly trying to return the favour against me. We cannot let Alonso Lopez get away, but the gloves are off, the elbows are being stuck out against each other this afternoon. Well, making our way then back down towards turn 1, trying to apply pressure to Vietti. I mean, Alonso Lopez just starting to stretch his legs a little bit at the front of the order. You have got to be careful, though, of course, when you attack the rider in front, that you don't leave yourself vulnerable to a move coming from one of the others behind. Jake Dixon still waiting in the wings there, as we'll slip to the inside of Vietti once again. I mean, so far today, it'd be hard to argue that I'd still be on his Christmas card list, but we'll make it back through and up into P2. I just don't want to let Alonso Lopez get away. Just starting to get a little concerned, though. Alonso Lopez just seems to have the legs over everybody else at the moment, and maybe now he's got that jump, no one's really going to be able to challenge him here. I mean, we're still pushing on, trying to hang as close to him as we possibly can. We've got a little bit of a buffer over Jake Dixon, as I think Vietti's starting to struggle a bit as well further behind. But yeah, I'm just worried that once again, when the AI get that little bit in front of you, they just seem to get quicker and quicker. And Alonso Lopez today, showcasing why he's one of the big championship threats. And look at that, yeah, Alonso Lopez absolutely cooking right now. He's done a 1:45.5 last lap, I believe. That's the quickest time we've seen all weekend by anybody here. So he's doing a tremendous job out front, and I don't think we're going to be able to match him. We're still running, high 45s. I think our last lap was a 46 exactly. So, yeah, a little bit frustrating. Like I said, the AI just seem to be able to pull away once they get out in front. But, yeah, I don't think we can complain about a P2 finish either. Well, as we start the last lap then of this race, I'm not saying it's as prominent as we saw it in Moto 3, but it is still definitely frustrating the way kind of like the front AI runner can be a second lap faster than everybody else. What are meant to be pretty even bikes right now. I mean, Jake Dixon still only about 2 seconds behind me. We've had a couple of little mistakes creeping in towards the end. We haven't really been under too much pressure from him either, but Alonso Lopez looks dead set to take, I think, yeah, he will take the lead of the championship, won't he? Especially with all the guys so far down. But yeah, I mean, a P2 finish for us, though, we can't complain about. I just want to get back to winning ways. And in towards the final couple of corners then, Alonso Lopez. I mean, this has been a dominant display today, and exactly what he needs to get his championship back on track as well. It is still early doors. He is still well and truly in that fight, but I mean, it must give you so much confidence around a circuit like this to build up that kind of lead when all is said and done. For us, though, yeah, after qualifying, I thought we were going to be kind of low end of the top 10 here, but everything kind of fell into place for us early on, and we've stayed consistent right the way through. Alonso Lopez will take the win here at Catalunya. We will come through for P2.
As the Moto2 riders do their cool-down lap, let's take a look at the final results of the race we've just seen.
And there we go then, it was Agura Aldeguy with a fantastic recovery on that last lap to end up P4 ahead of Vietti. That means the gap between us doesn't come down by as much as I was hoping it would. Ramirez ahead of Garcia, Arenas, Gonzalez and Canet rounding out the top 10 there. And Joe Roberts, despite being taken out, still recovers to a P12 finish there ahead of Barry Baltus as well. Further down the order, I think it was, Jake Dixon, who somehow ended up a lap down in the end. Not too sure what happened to him. Must have had a complete disaster or got stuck in the gravel or had a nap. Are the only things I can guess when all is said and done there. That means in terms of the championship, 10 points in it between Alonso and Lopez and Aldeguy. Another 10 points back to myself there with a bit bigger ahead of Vietti and Agura there. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon. When MotoGP returns, I've got no idea where we're going next.